Well, you gotta be kidding me. Apparently, Zach Ertz could be headed to the 49ers now. And the Eagles made a couple surprising roster moves, while Shaq Leonard weighed in on what his expectations are and how he can help the struggling Philly D. Plus, A.J. Brown issued a warning for Dallas while also providing a guarantee. And Brian Dawkins challenged the Birds to be more physical, so let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, so let me just start by saying I love you guys, because Birds fans are just the best. Like these two fellas who showed up at the NovaCare complex with a little message for Nick Sirianni and the team to run the ball. And honestly, a testament to getting a message through, because the Eagles actually sent out coffee to those fans with the head coach even acknowledging them in his presser.
It's not the first time I've heard run the ball. And you know what? And we do need to run, we do need to continue to try to run the ball. So no, I'm not surprised by that, and I appreciate their energy, because I know that same energy of those guys sitting out there this morning when I drove in. They're going to have that same energy when they're cheering us on in the stadium, and I'm thankful and grateful for that.
I love that, and seriously, let's keep up the energy. Although the Inquirer's Jeff McClain would argue that fix the run is a better argument, since like he pointed out, 1, opponents have done a better job defending it, 2, the zone read QB +1 factor isn't as prevalent or effective this season, 3, and Hurts, whether to protect him or the midseason injury, hasn't run as well, 4, running backs as a result don't have as many free yards before contact, and 5, the right guard in Cam Jurgens was out for 5 weeks.
Excuses?
Look, call it what you want, and yeah, maybe there's a little truth in those arguments. However, Dan Orlovsky thinks it falls mainly on the O-line just not dominating like they used to. For example, the group just wasn't as physical as we've seen in past weeks, with several instances of guys flat out just getting beat to the point. Heck, Jason Kelce even said recently on his podcast that the guys just have to be better and missed several assignments during the game. And alright, I appreciate the accountability, but personally, I'm with Brian Dawkins, who challenged the Birds to commit to the run game and unlock that physicality that we're used to seeing.
Offensive linemen want to punch dudes in the mouth. They want to be going downhill. They don't want to be going backwards all the time. So when you give those guys, and you can see it too, when you see an offensive lineman and they're dominating an opposing team, you can see the energy in the offensive lineman getting up. They don't even get as tired as they would because they're feeling it. So, but when you can do that, and you're punching dudes in the mouth, and they know you can do that, and now you then throw your deep balls, oh my goodness. Now you start to truly gash people. But for the life of me, I don't understand, especially in a game with all that raining and all of those things, why you would not have given the ball to Swift. We might get 2 yards here, 3 yards there, kind of similar to what the 49ers did in the first couple of series. They changed from one thing that they were trying to do, throw the ball, and what did they start to do? They started to run it. And it was effective.
Okay, this one seems like a no-brainer to me. If I asked you what's our identity this year, what would you say? Seriously, because it feels like we just don't have the same physicality and identity that we did last season. I mean, even if we go back to the NFC Championship game from last year, the Eagles ran the ball 44 times despite only running it at a 3.4 yards per carry clip. Yet what happened? Honestly, can you even picture Brian Johnson dialing up 44 runs in a game? Alright, yeah, he did have 40 called in the Bucs game earlier this season, but it's easy to stick with it when it's working for 8 to 10 yards a carry. No, I'm not just saying run all day even whenever it doesn't work at all. And sure, I get that it's hard to balance, but we've got to start getting our offensive line into the game early to impose their will instead of being so pass happy. Because ultimately, it's really just an intensity thing, something that AJ said the team didn't have versus the Niners, but issued a little warning for Dallas that we're going to see a completely different squad.
I'm going to keep what was said in the locker room, but you're going to see. You're going to see Sunday.
So you don't have a problem with that now? It's in the past?
No, I don't. No.
Oh yeah, and then he went ahead and doubled down on the extra motivation to play the Cowboys.
What is driving that? Somebody want what's on your plate. You're going to let them take it. And don't put it just like that.
Okay, I'm just telling you, I think AJ's about to go off against Dallas, which is why I'll be wearing my swole Batman jersey at the game Sunday, and let's do an AJ giveaway. If Philly wins and you can guess the total yards AJ ends with, I'll send you whatever jersey you want from the pro shop. As always, if we have ties, then I'll draw to determine the winner. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. But I think Mr. Always Open will be dominant. And Smitty should be too, because they more than proved that you can go after Deron Bland last game. Plus, the Seahawks made an example of him too, with DK Metcalf torching him for a couple scores and just being unguardable, while Jackson Smith-Njigba was also able to capitalize on Bland's weaknesses. Granted, we've got our own fair share of weaknesses on the defensive side of the ball that will surely prove costly this time if we don't get them fixed, especially guarding wide receiver CeeDee Lamb and tight end Jake Ferguson. But the good news is that Zach Cunningham is looking likely that he'll play, with him getting in practice and reports suggesting he should be ready. So with him and Shaq Leonard, that'll hopefully make the middle of the field at least not as gettable. And speaking of Shaq, the new signee was in Philly yesterday and already decided on a number, going with 50, while also taking Derek Barnett's old locker.
Did you touch my drum set?
Nope. Sorry, DB, we wish you the best. But the new locker owner shared what he expects out of his role and how he'll help the defense.
I just think, wherever they need me. That's my job, is to come in, wherever coach need me to be, that's what I'm going to be. Just experience. I think that I can, help that out, just, what I see on the field or on the sideline, whatever the case may be, and, just be the best teammate I could possibly be.
Great. We'll take all the help we can get. Plus, Leonard comes in and automatically becomes our best linebacker in coverage, with Cunningham giving up an 88.2 passer rating this season, while Nicholas Morrow's giving up a 117.8 passer rating. As a reminder, like I mentioned on the last episode, Shaq Leonard is at 79.2 for passer rating allowed, although for some reason, Shaq didn't think we had a major weakness there.
I'm not going to say they need me. I felt like their defense was playing well. I felt like the linebackers was playing well. I have a lot of respect for their linebackers, so it wasn't that. It was more so I wanted to go somewhere that would, fit me, and that a coach knew who I was as a person and as a player, and that's why I came here. It wasn't more so a need, something like that, because I felt like the linebackers were playing well.
All right, I can appreciate you not blasting your own guys, but 50 doesn't have to go overboard because you and I know that they've been bad. Now, even with the assumed improvement, surely Desai won't go with a linebacker going man-to-man versus receivers again, like he did in the last matchup on multiple occasions versus Dallas. One thing's for certain, though, he can't use Christian Ellis anymore after the 24-year-old was released to make room for roster moves, as the Eagles also released newly signed practice squad signee, wide receiver Cam Sims, to bring back Greg Ward. Not gonna lie, I was a little surprised to see Ellis get released ahead of Ben Van Sumeren, but obviously Philly didn't feel good enough about Ellis's most recent play and perhaps see more potential in BVS. However, that doesn't mean that Ellis won't make his way back to the roster though, since assuming he clears waivers, then it wouldn't be shocking to see him sign back to the practice squad. But another roster move to mention is that safety Justin Evans has officially been placed on the IR and will be out for the rest of the season, leaving the three remaining safeties of Reed Blankenship, Kevin Byard, and Sidney Brown. So hopefully this doesn't come back to bite us. Not that I thought Evans would start once he returns, yet as we all know, there was a reason he started early in the season, so it would have at least been nice to have him for depth. What do you guys think though? Is this a big deal or not really? In good news though, we had a couple guys get in full practices, and Dallas Goedert will officially be playing versus Dallas, so I'd expect him to have a pretty good performance since I think he wants a little revenge for a dirty tackle last time out. Yet while we're talking about tight ends, it's sounding like Zach Ertz to Philly could be in jeopardy, with 49ers beat reporter Matt Barrows sharing the 49ers are believed to be one of the teams with the most interest in Ertz, and potentially making a push for him. Yeah, that would be the worst. However, while San Fran GM John Lynch has inquired about him, head coach Kyle Shanahan didn't sound as intrigued, saying, "Right now, at least from my standpoint, we're good with our tight end group, but sometimes we have injuries and things change, so we'll look into all options as always." Look, obviously, you guys know from my past shows that I'd love for Ertz to be reunited in Philly, and personally, I think he still will. But man, would it be an added insult to injury if Zach chose the Whiners over the Birds. Honestly, how would you guys feel if Ertz ended up choosing them over us? Alright, as always, we'll keep you updated and go live as soon as any news breaks, so keep an eye out. This has been the Philly Special.